keeping those hands, arms, legs, and feet inside the safari vehicle. But the warden has given us clearance, so let's head on in. Our first stop today is in the Little Ituri Forest. And the Little Ituri Forest is home to some animals with some really great camouflage. What it looks like over on the right-hand side is the iconic okapi. Now, this okapi might look like it's part zebra due to those striped legs, but they're actually more closely related to the giraffe, and that's due to their very similar skeletal structure. Those striped legs just allow them to remain hidden during the daytime. As you can see with the sunshine through the leaves, it's creating that black and white striped shadow pattern, and that's kind of the same way this okapi stays hidden. Another incredible way is actually by their hooves. Those hooves have scent glands at the bottom of them, so they can leave false scent trails throughout the forest to kind of lead predators on a wild okapi chase. On the left-hand side, it looks like a magical moving boulder, but that is the black rhinoceros. Now, ooh, perfect. We're going to see their pointed prehensile upper lip. Now, that means to grab and grip. So they're able to grab and grip their food, which makes eating for them a lot more efficient since they are browsers. Now, once fully grown, that black rhino will be about 3,000 pounds, making it one of the smaller species of rhino out there. Yes, smaller at 3,000 pounds. And over on the right-hand side, that is the saddle-billed stork. Now, the saddle-billed stork, once fully grown, will be about 5 feet tall and have a wingspan of about 9 feet in length. On the left-hand side, that more golden-colored animal, that's known as the bongo. And that more sandy-colored animal, that is the greater kudu. Next stop is in the Safi River, home to some more aquatic life. So we want to keep our eyes towards the water. Oh my gosh, this is actually quite special. There's some Nile hippopotamus hanging out on land. Pretty rare sight. And it looks like he's hanging out with some pink-backed pelicans. There's 2 of them. Now these pink-backed pelicans, they get their name because during mating season, their skin will turn a light pink color to attract potential mates. It's almost like how whenever humans see their crush, they blush a little bit. And these Nile hippopotamus, a group of them is called a bloat. But crikey, one of my favorite animals on the left-hand side, the Nile crocodile. But we'll just want to remain seated, my friends. It does look like we've made it to the savannah. And I always like to show off this tree on the right-hand side. This tree is known as the baobab tree, and it's extremely important to the ecosystem out here. I know it might look a little weird and like it's upside down because there's no leaves on it, but that's just because 9 months out of the year, this baobab tree allocates all of its energy to storing water inside of its trunk. Now this trunk is a spongy-like texture, so it holds onto water extremely well. And the animals out here, they know this. And they know during those hot savanna summer days, they can go up to that baobab tree, take a bite out of it, and get rehydrated. And that's why this tree also earns the nickname, the Tree of Life. Oh, now upon entry, oh, this is pretty funny. Okay, so over on the right-hand side, that is the eland. Now this eland, during mating season, they'll use those horns on top of their head and they'll dig up a whole bunch of sticks, grasses, and flowers to kind of create their own personal flower crown to attract potential mates. It looks like that's what he's doing right over there. Now these elands are one of the largest antelope species. Those want to remain seated, my friends. Now they are one of the largest antelope species, males weighing in at about 2,000 pounds and the females about 1,000 pounds. But that doesn't stop them from being able to jump about 8 feet high at a standstill. Now I am going to be a little bit quieter because as you can see, the baby zebra is actually nursing. Now these are the Hartman Valley zebras, and pay attention to their stripes. Those stripes toward their hind legs actually grow a little bit wider. That's what actually helps us differentiate what type of zebra species that they are. Now within the first 20 minutes of that baby zebra's life, she did what's called imprinting, where she memorized her mother's stripes so that she would never lose her or mix her up in the wild. Just like us humans having our own completely unique fingerprints, zebras have their own completely unique stripes, and that no two are ever alike. And right behind these Hartman Mountain zebras on the left-hand side are these sable antelopes, but right ahead, these are my absolute favorite animals. Now look at that one on the left-hand side back there. She has a tilted horn. She's my favorite. I think she's just gorgeous. Now, pay attention to their eyes. Their eyes are absolutely gorgeous and perfectly positioned to allow them to see the ground where they're grazing, while also allowing them to be able to see us. Now, our group of wildebeest is called a confusion, and this confusion can travel in herds of hundreds of thousands, and even have been known to travel in herds of 1.5 million at a time. That's 1.5 million wildebeest all at once. Now what's really cool is that during their stampedes, they can kick up so much dust and dirt that they can create a dust cloud so large, you can see it all the way from outer space. But right ahead are the Maasai giraffe. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that sable antelope. Those sable antelopes are the symbol of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, and that's due to their resiliency. Whenever they're faced with a problem, a threat, or a challenge, instead of backing down and running away, they prefer to stand their ground and kind of stick up for themselves, which I think is a really great reminder that we should also be sticking up for these animals. Because unfortunately, a majority that we're seeing throughout our safari are going through what's called a silent extinction, which means that they're going to extinct right under our noses. So it's very important for us to kind of work together as a team to help these animals out. Now one of those animals going through that silent extinction are these Maasai giraffe. But there is a giraffe organization, it's the Giraffe Conservation Foundation. And I'm pretty passionate about what you're able to do is actually sponsor a Maasai giraffe out in Africa, and I'll send you a picture of that giraffe and some fun facts about them and their migration pattern. And it is just a really fun and cool way to get involved in conservation. Now I want everybody to take a picture of this giraffe over on the right hand side. It's laying down, which is extremely rare to ever see. This is just showing us that we're doing a really great job of making sure that they're happy and comfortable in their environment. Now giraffes, once fully grown, will be about 20 feet tall, and their babies are about 6 feet tall once first born. Does anybody know what you call a group of giraffes? A tower, good, yes. So a group of giraffes is called a tower, and a group of traveling giraffes is called a journey. Well, I personally like to call a group of scared giraffes a tower of terror. But you guys may have also noticed their tongues. It's a darkish, bluish, blackish, purplish color, and it's called a prehensile tongue, which means to grab and grip. So they're able to grab and grip all of those leaves at the top of the trees, while also allowing them to be able to pull some roots from the ground. Now, if you look at your grown-ups' forearms, from their fingertips to their elbows, that's roughly how long that giraffe's tongue is. We could be starting to approach some elephant country. But I do believe we're going to get an incredible view of this elephant. Now we're able to see their incredible ears, and they're fanning them back and forth. And that's because there's a whole bunch of blood vessels in those ears and around those ears. So as they fan them back and forth, they're actually fanning that blood. So by doing this, they're able to reduce their body temperatures about 15 degrees. Now elephants also have a pretty incredible trunk. That trunk has the ability to hold about 7 liters of water inside of it. So they use that 7 liters of water and they'll spray it all over themselves, and they'll get some mud or dirt to cling on them as well to kind of act as a nice natural sunblock. And that trunk has about 40,000 muscles inside of it. That's 40,000 muscles in that trunk alone, which is about 40 times the amount of muscles that we have in our whole entire bodies, making that trunk strong enough to be able to knock down a tree, while also being delicate enough to be able to pick up a coin or a berry from the ground easily. Oh, but it looks like there's some test marks in that red clay, which means a parade is nearby. Right-hand side by that truck, those are the ostrich, the world's largest flightless bird. I do think we'll be able to get a little bit closer to them. And they also love to hang out around this mud wall because they'll force that dust up into their feathers and it will absorb those oils. On the left-hand side, those are the cheetahs, the world's fastest animals, able to run at speeds of about 60 miles per hour in just about 3 seconds. And that's because their claws are always out, ready to grip into the ground and kind of pull themselves forward. A group of white rhinoceros. Now these white rhinos, once fully grown, will be about 6,000 pounds. And the word white doesn't come from the color of their skin, it comes from the Afrikaans word vite, which means wide. So they have that wider upper lip, while the black rhino has more of a pointed prehensile upper lip. Now rhinos actually have pretty terrible eyesight. They only tend to see about 10 to 15 feet in front of them. That's why their ears are always kind of moving around, because they got great hearing. So they heavily rely on them to gain a better understanding of the world around them. Now, unfortunately, because of poaching, there's actually more people predicted to come to Disney's Animal Kingdom today than there are rhinos left in the wild. So I really, really encourage you guys to kind of go out, learn a little bit more about rhinos and about rhino conservation, and see what you can do to get involved. Now, also, by looking at rhinos, they're actually just big puppy dogs. Whenever they're excited, they'll wag their tails, or even get the zoomies. Now, if you look over on the left-hand side, really hard to see, you can kind of see the mane of that lion. Now this lion for about 16 to 20 hours a day will mostly be doing what you see them do now, relaxing. And that is because they're nocturnal, highly intelligent animals. What they'll do is study their predators to develop their tactics to stay safe and safe in the wild. Now I do know that Pumbaa loves to snack and loves to eat, but it is important to remember our yummies are not good for wild animal tummies. So you ever see a wild animal, do your best to try not to feed them your food. It really upset their stomachs as well as harm their hunting patterns. Now what's really cool is that over on the right hand side, the ostriches just built their nest, as you can see. Now we have been waiting a long time for these eggs to hatch, so we are very excited. Now those ostrich eggs, they can weigh about 3 to 5 pounds each and can actually support the weight of a fully grown adult human on them without even cracking. Now fairly well everything about an ostrich is large. They have those large long legs, they got some strong and mighty eggs, and they even have the largest eyeballs of all the land animals on Earth. Some people even call them Disney princess eyeballs. But it does look like we've reached the warden's post. It looks like the warden is hanging out with her Nigerian dwarf goats. Now these Nigerian dwarf goats, they love to jump, they love to play, and they love to have fun. They also produce a very sweet milk that the warden is able to use and sell in the local markets. They're able to make some butters, some cheeses, some soaps, or even just sell that milk as is. Now I do believe that the warden and these goats have a very great mutualistic relationship. Unfortunately, it does look like we are starting to head back towards the village, which means our safari is coming to a close. If you'd like to see some more of these animals, feel free to come back and join us on another safari. These are wild animals, so no two safaris are ever alike. We also are some animal experts that would love to teach you more about wildlife and wildlife conservation. And by getting more people passionate and excited about wildlife conservation is a really great way to help these animals out. The organization I'm pretty passionate about is the Disney Conservation Fund. The Disney Conservation Fund is non-profit, and Disney will even match your donation. So if you donate $1, Disney will donate $1 right back. Each and every penny does go towards animal education, conservation, and research. And if you'd like to donate towards the Disney Conservation Fund, you can do so at any of the merchandise locations around Disney property.